Talked a lot about your recruiting philosophy of leaning on high school recruits more so than diving into the transfer portal. How much evaluation have you done of that as a real-time thing about you might want to evolve, take on more transfers eventually, or do you think, hey, this is working, stick with it? How do you look at it right now?
We evaluate every year. You see what's leaving, and you evaluate your roster, and then you look at who's coming back on your roster as far as who your starters are, projected starters are, and then you also look at who you're recruiting. And something we talk about every single year. It's not like I walk in and go, hey, this is what we're doing. We have a whole staff, very experienced coaches, and they're the head coach of their position. And so you gather input on that, and then so again, it's people. It's not I'm just for the guys that we have, and we just haven't been put in a situation yet. I said earlier today, if I took a job somewhere else, I'd be the greatest portal recruiter ever, because half my roster would be gone, and I'd have to go put it together. But we've had, if you study our team, our retention is as good as anybody in the country. Guys graduate, they stay, and we recruit. We've had 14 top 15 recruiting classes in a row. So, okay, you got a linebacker that leaves early. Do you go replace that guy with a portal guy, or here's Wade Woodaz? Because if you go because what you don't talk about is if you bring a guy in, somebody's got to leave. When you have the type of retention that we have, it would be different if we had a bunch of guys packing up and leaving. I think we've had maybe two, three, four guys leave in 3 years post spring. That's really what puts a lot of people in the portal, because you have to replace that in your roster. We haven't had that. Guys that are leaving you always know who your seniors are, who's going pro early, and then guys come and they articulate, hey, like I knew got some guys that were graduates from going in the portal last year. We planned for that in recruiting, and occasionally you have a gap, but we've signed a guy with the portal 2 out of the last 3 years, and then this past year we had one spot that we were trying to get a couple of guys, and we didn't get them. So it takes two to get that done. But we like our roster, and again, the portal's a great tool. It's a great tool for the player. It's a great tool for coaches. But for us, we just haven't been a full-blown portal recruiting team because of the type of kids we're getting and the type of retention that we've had.
Dave Dorn is going into his 12th season, and he was you were the only coach in the league left that was here when he was hired. Why do you think y'all have been able to sustain this longevity in such a volatile profession?
We've won enough, you don't win, you're not going to hang around. That's just really that simple, and the reason we've won is you say the same thing as we've had great staffs and great young men that have bought into doing what it takes to win. And so yeah, I'm not the oldest, but I'm certainly I guess got the most tenure. In fact, I was with Tom O'Brien a couple of nights ago, and he and I were talking just about that. When I first walked into the room, it was Tom O'Brien and Beamer and Friedgen and Al Groh and Paul Johnson and Cutcliffe and Bobby Bowden, Grove. It's changed a lot. So it just means we've been fortunate enough to find a way to win enough games, because if you don't win enough games, it's going to turn over quick. And Dave's done an amazing job of that at NC State.
And speaking of turnovers, that was kind of the challenge last year. Were you able to identify maybe some common themes as to why y'all had such an issue with, especially when it comes to hanging on to football?
Yeah, there was just some fluky things. Some of it's just, a guy gets his hand up at the right second, and instead of it going by, it's a tip ball, and it just falls into their best player's hand, and he walks in for a touchdown. There are certainly some things that led to a turnover. For example, we had a turnover against Florida State. We're getting ready to maybe go up, put the game away there, and we don't scan back on the protection. And they brought the guy from depth, and it would have been an easy pickup. And so the ball, that's what caused the turnover. But it's unfortunate that it's not just a sack fumble; it's a sack, scoop, 70-yard, touchdown. So that's football, though. We've had a ton of good fortune too. So a little bit of it's just some tough breaks here or there, but that's the way it is. And then some of it's fundamental, not securing the ball the way we need to secure the ball. That's part of it as well. We had 3 fumbles on the one. Going in to score. And you lose in double overtime and overtime. You lose on a pick 6. We had 2 first and goals on the one in our opener, and turned them both over. Got nothing. So fundamental stuff, ball handling. Routine stuff that you do in practice every single day. So it was frustrating, and not all on the quarterback or the running back, some of them on the receivers as well. We turned one over on special teams, so it's just a collective thing. Certainly an area that hopefully we can get that behind us.
Coach, I was just asking Kate about this. How much of a benefit is the new quarterback communications? Would it have been more of a benefit last year, saying with a new starting quarterback, new OC? How much of a game changer is that in general?
I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be great. I think it's great for the quarterbacks. First of all, just especially guys that have a chance to play at the next level, because they'll be ready. And we're the only level of football that didn't have technology on the sideline. You go to any high school game and they've got technology on the sideline. So there'll be a lot more truth telling going on the sideline than there's ever been in college football. Instead of finding out on Sunday. That guy said, no, he was a 3 technique. You get in there on Sunday, no, he was a freaking shade, or whatever. I got picked. And then you get in there and nobody touched him. Be a lot more truth telling in real time, being able to fix some things in the moment. I think that's great from a technology standpoint, but from a headset and a communication, you still got to have signals and stuff. You got 2-minute mode and all that stuff. You got to be able to be no huddle and do stuff. But I do think it'll be great. It'll cut off 15 seconds, so there might be some alerts that you can put in there, with the quarterback. Hey, you call a certain plays, alert this, because maybe that protection. Hey, if it's corner cat, we're in trouble. And so making sure you have some alerts built in. Same thing on the defensive side. Being able to communicate with your backer. Some people may be the safety, but whoever's calling the front, setting the fronts, based on defensive coordinators, you see the formation, you see certain things. Hey, alert this on this motion or whatever, because coaches see things quickly, especially from the box and so forth. And then special teams, there might be some things in special teams that you may be able to execute because you can communicate with somebody there. It's going to be good. It'll be fun, and then maybe create another tempo. You might see teams do a little more sugar huddle, what we call sugar huddle, than maybe you've seen in the past. Just because you can eliminate having a signal, and you can tell them what you want, and boom, go.
You've opened with games like the Georgia game in the past. What are the advantages of playing that kind of a challenging game right out of the gate, as opposed to easing into the schedule?
All the advantages are when you win it. So the advantage is if you win it. Other than that, I think you get exposed to, hey, like playoff football right out of the gate. Like, that's really what it is. I mean, it's that caliber football. Neither teams, both teams get better. I mean, both teams get better as you go throughout the course of the season. But there's an edge to it for sure. I mean, there's an edge. I mean, we've opened up everywhere. We've opened up in Auburn. We've opened up in Atlanta a couple times. Obviously last year on the road. I don't think we've had a home game opener maybe since about 2019. It's been a while. So opening up on the road against, Georgia to me has been the best team in the country the past 3 years. In totality. I don't know that anybody would argue with that. They've been really, really good, and they'll be great again this year. So it's certainly, young players. They all have respect for competition, and they all take pride in performance. And so it certainly brings an edge to your preparation.
Do you think that the expanded playoff with automatic bids now lends itself to more these kind of games?
Yeah, I think for sure. The number one thing for us is when you leave. I mean, I think that's for everybody. I mean, because if you can win your league, you get a bye, and I think that's huge. So I think it's no different. It's always been about our league for us. If we can win our league, hey man, that's been the gateway for us. And now it puts even more emphasis on that, because if you win it, you've got a chance to get that bye. That bye is huge. Having played 15 games multiple times, and the total of that, now you're looking at possibly 17 games. To be able to get a bye is, I think, what it's all about. But when it all comes down to it at the end, and like in basketball, when they're talking about the tournament, because we've created a tournament, if you will, that strength of schedule will be important. And yeah, you play games like this, and maybe another team, maybe they beat East Avoca Community College, and they're undefeated, and you've played the best of the best, and vice versa. Maybe you're both undefeated, but you got to win against Georgia, the best team in the country. So all those things certainly can factor into, and vice versa for Georgia. For them to step out of conference and play Clemson. I mean, it works both ways. So I think definitely something that'll probably be more and more down the road with the committee.
Coach, you got a comment on the Caden's situation and what's going to happen with him after what happened the other day?
Yeah, well, first of all, the way it was written is like he was handcuffed and taken to jail. That's not accurate. He was issued a ticket, a citation, and so he'll be held accountable for that, and he'll handle that in the process, and go to court for that. Like the ticket says. And but he's a great kid. He's never been in trouble. Never had an issue with Caden, and we'll handle it within our team framework.
16 of these ACC media days, and I'm sure that's a big number to you, but you still draw a crowd here. Regardless of the state of the conference, do you enjoy this, or what do you make of this experience?
I enjoy it because I get to see a lot of people that I work with, and sometimes you don't get to see them until you get back going, and I get to meet some of the other players, get to see some of the coaches, and then you get a chance to get on to talking about your team, and everything builds to this. This is kind of like, okay, we just finished 5 days as a staff, our program meetings, and now this is kind of when we head back home from this, it's like, all right, hey, we're ready. It's time to get on the grass. So it's fun. I enjoy it. Enjoy talking about our team, talking about our kids, and talking about Clemson. That never gets old.
Coach, you had a legendary rant on Tiger calls last season. Tyler from Spartanburg, if you remember that. What do you think the attitude that caller in particular had says about fan culture in general in the modern era?
People are passionate about it. Fans are passionate about the game, and that's part of what makes it great. I do think sometimes we can, lose sight that, we're people, and there's people involved. But I love the passion. I love the fans that we have at Clemson. It's amazing. There's not many places that you can go to on a Saturday like Clemson, South Carolina. So we're blessed to have that type of passion.
Has you mentioned gotten better? Has it stayed about the same since the portal has started? I guess you have solutions on how to try to fix
people have gotten more creative. People have gotten more creative in how they go about it.
Do you have solutions to try to fix?
I got a lot of solutions. I just don't have opportunity.
You mentioned trying to win the league before. To go from a 4-4 ACC team that you were last year to winning the league, where does that improvement have to come from?
Well, I think last year, first of all, how we finished was awesome. I was really proud of that team. Winning 5 in a row, and just really grew through the adversity. But it's winning the close games. First of all, it's taking care of the ball. We were atrocious at that last year, so we got to turn that around. And then, the last 3 years we've won 30 games, 30, and that's 94th percentile in college football. So if you made a 94 on your paper, that's an A. That's good. You think that's good, and that's more wins in the last 3 years than 126 of the 134 teams in college football. So we've been good, but the reason we haven't been great, you know, like we were 15 to 20 when we were making a Final Four, it's not very much for us. It's not like we're 75th percentile. We've been 94th percentile the last 3 years, and last year is a microcosm of the past 3 years, and how close you are. I mean, you lose in double overtime, you lose in overtime, you lose on a one-play pick six in Raleigh, and I mean, you lose a game at Duke. We were 200 plus. We've never lost a game in 128 years at Clemson ever, but we did. Well, we had about 5 turnovers, 2 of them first and goals on the one, and they take good team, they take advantage of that, and we get beat. So it's just when we've been great, all right, as I said earlier today, when we've been great, all right, we have a plan to win, and we have been great at executing that. In particular, big play margin, all right, having more big plays than the opponent. So big play margin. And then it's been red zone scoring. We were not good last year on either side. Defensively, we were 8th in the country, but when people got to the red zone, they scored touchdowns. And then we're 15th in the country in first downs. We got there a lot, but we didn't finish. Block kicks, missed kicks, turnovers, you name it. And then we have won the close games when we've been great. You know, so to answer, it's a long answer to your question, but that's just the reality. I mean, since 2011, we lead the nation in one-score wins. We lead the nation. Like 49 games, we're 79%. The next closest is like 60. All the rest of them are 60% and below, 69 and below all the other teams. All right, so that means one-score games down to the wire, and the type of games that we've played in the last, since 2011, we've been elite at winning the close games. We lead the nation. But the difference in 15 to 20, when we were great, 96 percentile, we were number one in those close games. We were 82%. We were like 18 and 4 or something like that. 21, 22, and 23, we're 27th in the country, 65%. We haven't won the close games. You go back to 21, we lose on one play to Georgia. One play, 10 to 3, pick six. Neither offense scored a point. One play. You go losing double overtime on the road. One play, you know, and so you're talking a few plays, and the narrative is different. But that's how close it is. When you're trying to make a Final Four, it's a few plays, and when we've been great, we made those few plays. We won those close games. We were really, really good when it came to finishing and scoring in the red zone and not letting people score.
So how do you turn those close losses into W's this year?
Yeah, so it's just the fundamentals of what we do. It's recruiting, it's us coaching, it's all of it together, and guys getting better. You know, some of it's just some good luck. You know, sometimes we don't count. You know, luck's a part of it too. You know, I mean, sometimes just things bounce your way, and we've had a lot of good fortune over the years. But you know, so it's not like I said, it'd be different if you were 9-4 and getting your teeth kicked in. You know, it's not been the case. Even in 22, we won this league 2 years ago. We won the league 7 out of 9 years. So to get back, we need to win the league. All right, and so those are the things that's how close we are. But even that year when we won the league 2 years ago, we're 1 point away from being in the playoff. Fourth quarter, South Carolina, we fumble the punt return, we fumble the kick return, lose 2 possessions with a lead, and you get beat by 1 point. Otherwise, you're in the playoff. So, you know, those are disappointing things that you just have to, you know, coach through, recruit through, and practice through. And that's what we're working on.
So what has this group shown you in particular through the offseason that allows you to believe that they could be another one of those great teams?
Well, number one, how they finished. You know, at a place like Clemson, we're sitting there 4-4, and the amount of, you know, disappointment and noise and all the stuff that comes with that. To watch how they finished was awesome. All the way to the last play of running in from the 3-yard line, you know, to on a comeback drive against Kentucky in the Gator Bowl. that momentum, that confidence has and the experience and the adversity all combined together has really driven this group. And it's been fun to watch them. You know, they put the work in. Guys came back because they wanted to finish on their terms, if you will. We've recruited it well. We've got some guys that got some experience last year that are going to be better. So I'm excited about it. And our coaching staff, we've got an excellent staff. They've put a lot of work in as well.
When you say bad luck, does that include injuries? It's that playoff run.
Yeah.
You had really good luck with injuries. Mike Williams went down, but these last 3 years has been, especially a receiver.
Yeah, it's been tough. I mean, you know, you go back to the Power Rangers. You know, those guys were healthy all year. We had 5 experienced guys. Everybody else was freshmen behind them. XT and KJ were true freshmen. You know, we had these young guys behind them. But, you know, it's part of it. Last year, you go into this, everybody, you know, Kane, yeah, he's got to take another step. But you go into the season, your starters are Cole and Antonio, and by game 3, they're done for the year. So now you got Stellato, who had no summer, no fall. He got cleared Tuesday of the Duke game. He never had a spring, never had a fall camp, had never played. And now you're in real time, on game time, you've got this kid playing. He hadn't even practiced going into Duke week was when he got cleared. Tyler Brown, a true freshman. You know, Adam, who was battling off injury and regaining his confidence. And so all of a sudden, you know, you got, and then he breaks his hand and we deal with some stuff throughout the season. So we got to be better around him. And so health and availability is a huge part of, you know, just a little good fortune, because it's not like it's one thing. I mean, you got broken hands, we got some weird stuff that happens, and that's just part of football. But, you know, I think we've got really good depth. We got 5 guys that have started games at receiver for us, and then we've got, you know, Noble off a red shirt, Ronan Hannafin back, Tink coming off a red shirt, and then we added 2 great freshmen. That we got 10 guys, so we got more health and hopefully more availability, so that we can be better around Kate. We got 7 guys that have started and won games for us back in the OL, plus Lincoln. So, you know, for the first time, I think in a while, we're healthy, and hopefully that will stay the case. But you got to, you know, football's not easy. You got to go practice. You got to go, you know, prepare. And when we've been great, that's been a part of it as well. We've been able to, you know, keep our best guys on the field.
Devin, you lost 2 more minutes with Coach.
You lost 2 guys after the spring. How do you plan to replace those scholarships, those 2 guys that left? What's your plan?
We'll talk about that when we get into camp. You know, we were at 84. You know, Casperson, our snapper, was on scholarship, so we lost. We needed to. We had to. Somebody was going to have to come off scholarship, and so it put us at 84. So we've got, you know, 1 spot, and we'll go through camp and we'll see what happens there.
Coach, you guys have a little bit of a reset up front, but you bring in on defense, but you bring in a lot of talented guys to replace them. Can you talk about what you've seen from that group, and also how big has it been to have Barrett come back to kind of quarterback that defense?
Yeah, it's been awesome. Not just Barrett, you know, we're built really good through the middle. I mean, you know, we're kind of like a baseball team over there. We're strong up the middle, man. Kate Park and Peyton Page, these are Trey Williams, these are grown men.